We're pleased to welcome Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. Congressman, it's been a while. Great to see you.
Good to be back with you. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Thanks. Unfortunately, it's just another day in Biden's America, however. And just like the Democrats, the Republicans, the Democrats like to say that the Republicans have no solutions, right? But you co-sponsored a bill with Minnesota Congresswoman Michelle Fishback to address supply chain issues at our nation's ports and the inflation that comes with it. Tell us more about that bill.
Well, it's called the Ship It Act. And one of the simple things we wanted to do was actually get rid of the hours requirements that truckers are under with respect to driving freight to and from ports. Federal law actually puts a limit on the amount of hours they can drive. Now, listen, we understand we want our truckers to be safe, but the reality is we have a shortage of trucks on the road for a myriad of reasons, including some of the terrible policy in the state of California. So we wanted to give truckers the ability to drive that additional hour or two to be able to get freight from the ports and to the rest of the United States. The other thing we wanted to do was allow 18-year-olds who have been through apprenticeship trainings to be able to drive trucks as well. Let them get into the labor force quicker and sooner so we can address these supply chain issues as quickly as we can.
Yeah, and certainly more attention needs to be paid to this. But according to the UN, the Ukrainian crisis risks tipping 1.7 billion people, over 1/5 of humanity, into hunger. I mean, combined 30% of the world's wheat, barley, and fertilizer costs are rising for our farmers. I want you to listen to this clip that we have right here and get your reaction.
Fertilizer shortages are real now because Russia is a big exporter of fertilizer. And even though fertilizer is not sanctioned, less fertilizer is coming out of Russia. As a result, we're working with countries to think about natural solutions like manure and compost. And this may hasten transitions that would have been in the interest of farmers to make eventually anyway. So never let a crisis go to waste.
Never let a crisis go to waste. Congressman, that's just the Democrat playbook.
It absolutely is. Well, listen, these issues with wheat, with fertilizer, and et cetera, these are things that everybody knew, anybody that knows commodities. We all knew this. I'm not quite sure what Joe Biden knew, but the reality is that he did not prepare the United States for these eventualities. If you had extended conflicts in Ukraine, it was going to severely hinder the supply of wheat throughout the world. We already know about fertilizer with respect to Russia because of the amount of oil that they produce. The Americans need to understand fertilizer is one of the byproducts of oil production, is creating fertilizer for the farms so the farms can actually grow food that ends up in the supermarkets all across the United States. So we have to be serious in our country about making sure that we control our supply chains, but also that we have a good working stock of the material our producers and our farmers need to keep our economy going day by day. We've been needing to do this planning for quite some time. It is unfortunate that it's taken COVID-19 and this Russia crisis and Ukraine crisis for us to realize how important supply chain management really is. And we need to do that job immediately.
Well, Congressman, I think, just shifting gears a little bit here, I think there's no question that Americans want to see some change in this country. We're watching tonight, obviously, a lot of breaking news. Of course, the Ohio primaries, we see in the Senate now, Trump-endorsed J.D. Vance has won his primary. You have that coveted Trump endorsement as well. Just want to get your thoughts as we watch this play out, what this means going forward as we watch the primaries leading into the midterms.
Well, I think the number one thing is that not only Republican voters, but all voters realize that the last competent commander-in-chief we had was Donald Trump. So if he's going to come out and support somebody, that means that he's seen something in that individual, whether it's myself or J.D. Vance, that they can actually go get the job done on behalf of the American people. So I think you're going to continue to see this play out in primaries all across the country, where people who have been backed by President Trump are going to go on and win in Republican primaries. But that's just step one. Step two is winning in November. Step three is doing the hard work of bringing America First policies to Congress so we can get our nation back on track.
Well, it looks like we are headed on the right track with tonight's news. Congressman Byron Donalds, it's always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here.
Anytime. Good to be back with you.